Cheers, Aaron. Thank you. Right, fingers crossed for another Brit through here at Wimbledon. Heather Watson's just about to get underway if she hasn't already on court number 1. Gigi is watching.
Thank you, Tony. Alongside Laura Robson, and Heather Watson has game points. Serving first in this third round encounter, looking for her first round of 16 at a Grand Slam, up against Kaja Juvan, just 21 years of age, the Slovenian, twisting her racket, stepping up and just inside the baseline now to put some pressure on the second serve of Watson, looking to shut down the nerves and close out the first hold. And it's a backhand down the line from Watson, double-handed from Watson, cross-court to the slice. Drops middle of the court, the slice approach from Watson, who's at the net. It's ballooned long by Kaja Juvan, a hole to 15. And that will of Laura Robson just settled a couple of the nerves, walking out here on court 1, looking for a first round of 16 place.
Absolutely, and Juvan is really tricky. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen her play, and she's very, very talented. She was coming up the same sort of time as Swiatek. They were really good friends in juniors. I'm not sure if they're as close anymore, but both of them were the two names that people were talking about for a number of years as the ones to watch, the really talented juniors. And Juvan just hasn't quite pushed on in the same way. She's almost been there. She's made the final of a WTA this year. Has made the third round of a slam a couple of times now, but just hasn't quite made that bigger step forward. And I feel like she's on the cusp of it, but hopefully not today from a very biased British view.
Now, I do bow to your greater inside knowledge, but I believe that they're still best friends, Iga Swiatek and Kaja Juvan, unless you've heard of some rumblings.
I haven't. I'm glad they're still...
They are still best friends. They say it's their weird tastes that they have that links them, as the off-backhand return from Watson on the baseline. Baseline crouch so low, Watson back on that baseline. Slams up the other backhand, follow-up into the net. But they say they've got strange tastes. These are their words, not mine. And that brings them together, and they were partners together when they went through the Youth Olympics. Won gold together in the doubles. She won gold, Juvan, in the singles. So, no, I think they're still friends.
Oh, good. I'm glad. They used to go out and watch each other play a lot in juniors, and obviously they don't anymore for very normal reasons. But I'm glad they're going strong.
They are, and they even faced each other in the first round of Roland Garros a couple of years ago, and it ended the way of Iga Swiatek, but the friendship remains. So Juvan looks up, takes a deep breath. She's wearing a white visor with a plait that goes midway down her back, and she looks at that ball as she hooks it to the ball boy as the sun breaks free, and it's 30 love, and the serve down the tee and the backhand has some air on it, depth, and it finds the baseline. Watson, another airy shot from Watson, tried to bring down the forehand cross-court but finds the net, and it's game points for the 21-year-old.
And Juvan's got a pretty big serve. She's only 5'7", but she manages to get some pace on the ball. She likes to play an aggressive game from the back of the court, but she does have that slice that we've seen a couple of times already today. So Heather just needs to stay on her toes, expect anything.
Game point, serve down the tee. Juvan thought she had aced. She hasn't. You heard the call. Back she goes. Second meeting, they met at the US Open, and it was a 6-1, 6-4 win for the Slovenian back edge of last year. Inside the baseline from Watson, little fist pump as she draws the error. But that was a pretty rough time for Heather Watson. That started a run of first-round main draw losses that lasted from the US Open, the back end of last year, all the way through to Miami this year.
I'm not going to read too much into that anyway, because Heather's really not had a great record at the US Open. I think that was her 10th first-round loss. So she's just obviously not feeling good on the courts there as Heather hits a lob long, so that's one game all. And I think when you've got that in the back of your head that you've lost so many times at a slam, then you're never going to play your best tennis. But this is much more equal matchup today.
We have a result on court 18, Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Yul Niemeyer's dream start to life on the Grand Slam circuit continues. Gigi, she moved into the fourth round at the All England Club, beating Lesia Sarenko of Ukraine 6-4, 3-6, 6-3. It's another third round exit for Sarenko, who was furious with herself, slamming her racket into the ground and making a very quick exit from court 18. But in her debut campaign, it is Yul Niemeyer of Germany who progresses to the fourth round at Wimbledon.
Aaron, thank you very much. And a match to look out for a little bit later. It hasn't been scheduled, but it's a not before 5 p.m. It's a mixed doubles involving the partnership of Jamie Murray and Venus Williams. You can only imagine it'll be on one of two courts, maybe only one court it will be on, but that is for later. Watson with the forehand push back off the baseline. Watson then hits a deep forehand down the line. The backhand cross court into the middle of the court, the high backhand. Watson's keeping her ground on the baseline. The low slice over the net, the approach from the Slovenian, the lob from the Brit, who takes the point and moves to 30 love.
It's such a clever play. She drew Juvan in, forced her to come to the net where she's not overly comfortable, and then a very easy lob. I mean, it was a shot that Juvan didn't really even move to in the end.
So 7 minutes played. It's 1:15 in the afternoon. The clouds, that one doesn't look that handy, does it?
Looking a bit dark.
Well, we have a roof, should it be needed, as Watson aces down the tee to move to gain points.
I just feel like the last couple of match wins have helped Heather so much in terms of playing aggressive on the court. She plays her best tennis when she's still looking to move forward, looking to hit the forehand with a bit of weight of shot behind it.
Gain points for 2-1. Watson with the serve out wide, the stretch on the backhand will find the court. Watson lets it drop. She's up towards the net. She slams that ball down. Boy, didn't need to be that close, but she finds the back edge of the baseline. She holds to love. And 8 minutes on the clock, and it's
by 2-1 for set.
There you go, confirmation. We're on serve.
A good start, positive start. I just think Heather's mindset coming into this tournament, she wasn't really sure how she was going to play, because she had a bit of a hamstring issue a couple of weeks ago that she picked up in Nottingham, then couldn't play Birmingham because of that, where she made the semi-finals last year. So already you've got in your head that you can't defend those points. And then in Eastbourne, she lost in qualies, got in as a lucky loser, lost again. So that sort of takes another chip in your mindset coming into a slam. You're thinking, oh, I'm maybe not 100% healthy, plus I've taken a few losses, and she's just been able to turn it around so well.
Yeah, she certainly has. Let's head out to court 2, TFO and Bublik being watched by Jonathan Overend.
Yeah, I can confirm it is very grey above, but not as grey as it was around about 45 minutes ago. And those clouds dispersed, so hopefully they will continue to do for the rest of the day and will be trouble-free. 5 games all, third set in this very close match between TFO and Bublik. Close on paper, close in practice. And, you're not going to get me to predict who's going to win from here, Gigi.
No, I'll leave that to a little bit later, maybe as we get closer to a finish line. 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 degrees Celsius. So it's, I feel like the first day of summer, does it?
Well, I walked in earlier and you were in a puffer.
It was, I might be exaggerating
It's not
slightly.
exactly the 1st of July.
But it was about -8 in the commentary box when I arrived. There were icicles on the ceiling. And that is wide from Heather Watson, who said that having had to play for 4 consecutive days with the first round match against Korpach, who then people got to know with lots of her Instagram posts about not playing with Harmony Tan in the doubles, and then Wang in the second round, she said she had to take all these caffeine gels the later the matches got to give her the energy to continue the match, and then she'd get home and she'd be absolutely buzzing and she couldn't sleep.
It was such a frustrating schedule for her, because in the first round it was the curfew that stopped the match, and then in the second round it was the darkness, and she just hasn't had a break. And it's so hard to come back day after day knowing that you're only going to play a couple of games and you need to get the fastest start possible. So coming out, trying to just serve out the match, and was only on court for about 10 minutes yesterday, but you've got to go through that whole routine, the whole preparation, as if it's going to be 2 hours that you're out there. So it's just not easy to get the balance right. Of course, she was scheduled for doubles as well, but that's been cancelled, so there's a bit of a backlog on that side too.
Well, at least she knows she'll get her singles match completed today, but it is 30 love on the Juvan serve. Juvan steps in, scoops the forehand cross-court. Cross-court onto the sideline goes Watson. Drags the backhand out of the air, finds the angle. Watson for the winner, gets on the board. And just a note, for those of you who are trying to find the stream of first practice for the British Grand Prix on the BBC Sport website, unfortunately there are some technical issues, but they are being looked into, so hopefully that's going to get resolved very soon.
Big sporting weekend. So many things to try and keep an eye on.
Obviously, the tennis will be...
Obviously, the tennis is the priority.
30-15, the backhand netted. She held her ground on the baseline, Juvan, swung the top half of her body and kept the legs stock still, and the result was the net was found. And this is the first bit of pressure on serve.
And Juvan had such a great win in the first round against Haddad Maya, who had won Nottingham and Birmingham. And I think that's really hard sometimes to follow up. As she hits a forehand long, so that's the first break point for Heather Watson.
12 minutes on the clock and an opportunity for Heather Watson to edge ahead. 30 years of age, Heather Watson, who said that the highs are not as high anymore and the lows are not as low. So I guess they balance each other out. But this would be a high if she could reach her first Grand Slam round of 16. But there's a lot of work to do, but she now has a second serve to look at as Watson, leaning forward, wide stance, steps in. Pressure on the second serve that goes down the tee. That is soft, heavy, deep, big forehand from Watson, who's on the attack. She lofts up another ball, keeps it short. It's chopped back deep from Juvan, who hits the backhand into the centre of the court. The backhand is netted from Watson, and that was an opportunity.
Well, Juvan totally stopped. She thought the return was long and she was waiting for the call, was almost caught off guard in the next shot, and she didn't want to stop and challenge just in case, which I think would have been a really bad decision had she done that, because we could see a little bit of chalk puff up in front of us.
Juice, break point saved, serve down the tee, misses. Juvan, as Laura mentioned, runner-up in Strasbourg this year. That her best result to date. Serve down the tee, the high backhand through the middle from Watson. Watson swivels round to the forehand and goes cross-court to the service line. Big, deep forehand from Juvan, who scampers the backhand side, but it is long from Watson and it is game point.
I think that's the best part about tennis, isn't it? That every day when you get to a slam is someone's best ever day in their career. And for both of these players, it'll be such a big moment. Heather, you've kind of got to go back to Birmingham last year for the last time she did well.
Drop shot from Juvan. That is a speciality of the Slovenian, the drop shot, and how well she executed that. No chance for Watson, and from break point down, Kaja Juvan is able to turn it around and level us up at 2 games all.
And she's looking up at her box and sort of smiling a bit. I think she's trying to figure out what to do. So far, she's not really found much rhythm on the forehand side. There's been a couple of errors, a couple of winners, and then the drop shot there. So I think she's just going to try and keep Heather guessing for a bit longer.
1:22 in the afternoon, 5 live at the Wimbledon Championships to come today on centre court. Novak Djokovic, British number 1 Cameron Norrie, the world number 2 Ons Jabeur, 3rd seed here, is going to be on court in about 8 minutes' time. Action all around the grounds, doubles, mixed doubles. As Heather Watson serves, Juvan is way inside. She goes drop shot again, but that wasn't good. And Watson comes forward, but it's too long from Watson, dragging the Brit forward.
Well, I'm not sure about that tactic. I mean, the forehand drop shot return is going to be a very hard shot to manoeuvre, even off a serve that was about 74 miles an hour. But Heather was right up to that one and just pushed it long, came up off the forehand too early.
First point against the serve, Watson looks across, reaches up and serves out wide to the backhand that goes middle of the court, trying to draw Watson in, but she doesn't need to be dragged in because the ball flies under the racket of the Slovenian, and it's 15 all, and the roar from Watson.
15 all.
Well, it was the first time that she'd lost the first point on her own serve, so it just needs to pick up the energy.
12th appearance for Heather Watson at Wimbledon. Those 3 previous 3rd rounds. Serve down the tee. The backhand goes cross-court to the forehand down the line from Watson to the backhand, back up the line and long from Juvan, who then slices the ball over the net as Watson is pacing around at the back of the court, gathering together some balls.
She must feel like this is her best chance. I mean, when you look at the draw as well on the women's side, who they would potentially play in the 4th round and so on, it's wide open at the moment.
30-15. "16 minutes on the match clock. There is a breeze. It is a day for jumpers, possibly jackets. As Watson reaches up and serves out. Well, it's a very soft serve, and it's even softer return. Took Watson by surprise. Watson gathers herself and winds up the forehand, going cross-court to the forehand that's redirected down the line from the Slovenian, who keeps on the forehand, cuts that ball, slices under it inside, and Slovenian goes heavy flat forehand down the line. Juvan takes the backhand, cross-court onto the sideline. The defence from Watson is keeping this ball in play. Watson to the side, cuts the ball short on the forehand cross-court. It's cut back on the angle. The drop shot from Watson. Oh! An absolute beauty from Heather Watson.
Best point of the match so far. Heather just able to hang in there, waited for an opportunity to turn defence into offence, and the forehand angle that set the ball up so that she could go for this drop shot was gorgeous. It was short angle, cross court. Juvan had to cut off the diagonal and she just couldn't quite get there in time.
What a drop shot. That's out of the Juvan playbook. Game points for 3-2. Watson with the white visor on reaches up and nets off the first serve. Long dark plait going down between her shoulder blades. Leaning forward, the sweatband on the left wrist as she bounces the ball now. Looks across at her opponent, who's standing just inside the baseline. Comes a little bit further forward. Juvan with the forehand cross-court to the forehand, and Watson, who redirects it down the line. The backhand of Juvan cross-court. These are game points for Heather Watson, who doesn't need to play the follow-up forehand, because that is a hole to 15. Who's already had a break point on the Juvan serve, but 18 minutes played, Tony. We are on serve, 3-2, coming up to the middling part of the first set.
Cheers, Gigi. Yeah, it's very exciting, isn't it, watching the Brits this year at Wimbledon. Yesterday, Liam Brodie beat the 12th seed, Diego Schwartzman, in 5 sets. And Katie Bolter here on centre court won her match against the 6th seed Karolina Pliskova to send her through to the 3rd round. On the Wimbledon Daily podcast, which Jonathan Overend presents and produces every single night, which is well worth a listen, he spoke to her coach, Jeremy Bates.
I think there's a very good atmosphere amongst all the players. I think there's a lot of inspiration taken from Emma. I know that's been said before, but the players that we've all seen have been very familiar with her. We've seen success of obviously Cam Norrie as well, and Evo on the men's side falling, coming behind sort of all the successes that Andy's had. There's a cumulative effect, but I think that the most important thing is that the players feed off each other, they learn from each other, and they work well together. And when you see one of your closest friends performing on the biggest stage, you sort of say, well, I know that person, I know what she's capable of. You can't really equate how much of an impact that has, and I think that there's a lot more work being done physically, mentally, and no stone unturned. The approach to actually the attention to detail across everything that everyone is doing is really second to none. And I think that the bottom of the line is, if you put the work in, you're going to get the results out, and they're all feeding off each other. And I think it's a very good thing, because it's not just been one player who's performed well, it's been multiple players.
Laura, speaking to Liam Brodie after his win yesterday, we talked about some quotes that he'd given saying that there was a culture change within British tennis, but he amplified that. He said, we've learned to dedicate our lives to the game. It's who can sacrifice more. We've learned that from other nations. Almost as though there were a cohort of British players over the years who've just been playing at it. Suddenly, this generation have got it. Do you see that?
I do in parts. I think, Liam got to an age where he was sort of thinking, well, if I'm not going to commit 100% and give everything I can to being the best tennis player possible, then what am I doing out here? And I think that sort of mindset, it does form a bit of a culture around the player lounge. Everyone trains in the same place, everyone's in the gym at the same time, and you start to see one person doing a personal best in the gym or on the track, and you want to be right up there with them. I mean, everyone is so competitive, and as soon as one person does well, you think, well, if they can do it, why not me?
Backhand cross-court winner stepping inside the baseline from Heather Watson. We saw the wonderful runs through the grass from Jodie Burrage. I mean, boy.
And Jodie was in Katie's box last night.
Yeah.
Well, not last night. It's all blowing into one, but yesterday afternoon.
They all talk about how they support each other. And as you say, if you see someone getting success, you want to get that success as well. And you feel you can have that success. As Kaja Juvan, things tighten up on her serve once again. Remember, there was a break point to save on her serve in the last game, and now Watson has drawn the error for 30-all. So Juvan twists the racket in the right hand, serves down the tee. The backhand is in play. The forehand, the off forehand into the corner. The defence backhand down the line from Watson. Watson scurries to the forehand down the other wing. Doesn't have the balance, isn't able to control it, and that is a game point.
Juvan's been very up and down already in this match.
30.
Sometimes it looks like she's trying to dig deep and to stay in the rally, and other mistakes that we've seen, she's just sort of let the ball fly and it's gone meters out.
Game point for 3-all. That serve went meters out, going out wide. The ball boy is on the tarpaulin. He's got it, big smile on his face. Back he goes. We're set fair, and Juvan will serve the second serve. Oh, that lofted up, brought down by Watson, who now hits the forehand inside out to the backhand cross court, to the double hander of Watson through the middle of the court. The off forehand from Juvan drops a little bit short. Slice from Watson. Forehand whipped cross court. The defence squash shot cross court from Watson, who slices off the backhand side. Juvan runs round, cuts the ball, drops it over. Watson picks it up with the backhand, drifts it inside the baseline. The lob is up. It will find the court, and the raised arms from Kaja Juvan, who says thank you very much. The point and the game. So 3 games all here. A set point with Jonathan Overend.
3 of them to Francis TFO of the United States, and a backhand return into the net from Alexander Bublik, who's been slicing and slicing and slicing, but TFO, with his flatter, more powerful hits, has edged the third set tiebreak. Very little to choose between these two, but TFO now leads this match by 2-1.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. 7th game of the set. Some people think it's important. Some people think it's just a game. But it signals we're at that midway point of the set. A break here could be crucial. The drop shot from Watson. Here comes Juvan. She scoops it up. What does Watson do? She puts the lob up. Beautifully played. And this is what we expect from Juvan, dragging her opponents in with the drop shot. But we've seen more so far off the racket of Watson.
Great variety from both players. A couple of lobs, loads of drop shots. And in that previous point that Juvan won to hold serve, she kind of gave a bit of everything, didn't she? And there was an inside-out forehand drop shot, couple of faster forehands, and it's difficult to read. I feel like sometimes it looks like Juvan's not trying 100% because she sort of drops into these very loose drop shots and slices, and it looks like she's not committed to staying in the rally, but that's actually what makes it difficult to play against.
Yeah, she describes her style as diverse, as Watson lofts a very deep serve, but it's crunched back off the second serve. Short ball for Juvan, should place it where she pleases, does so, takes the point, the second point of Game 7, the first set.
That is the one thing that Heather needs to keep an eye on today, the second serve, keeping the pace up on it, or if not the pace, at least keep the slice on it. You don't want to be kicking the ball up, and Juvan will take advantage of that every time you expect.
Both players looking for their first Grand Slam round of 16 place. Sun has broken free from that rather ugly grey cloud. That was a rather ugly serve. Second serve, ballboy scurries to take his place by the net, and Juvan's inside the baseline saying, I will punish, I will take on anything short. In she steps, keeps it on the forehand, slams it cross court. Watson's there with her forehand through to the middle, inside out, deep winner off the Slovenian's racket, and now this is the first little bit of pressure we are seeing on the Watson serve.
Made it. I think Heather left it a bit late because she was hoping it might go long, just caught the back of the line. But again, another 72-mile-an-hour serve.
It won't get the job done. 15-30, misses down the tee. It lofts up into the air, the ball boy drops it, like 5 or 6 times. Poor fella. Right, he's got it. Beside the towel buckets he goes. And Watson with the second serve goes deep. The inside-out forehand, she was going to crunch that all day long, Kaja Juvan. She saw it coming, 71 miles per hour. She had the time to run around the backhand, slam the inside-out forehand, and bring up her first break points of the match. 15-40. Heather Watson needs this first serve. But Juvan's already standing up on the baseline for the first serve. Where does it go? It goes out wide on the angle. The forehand's back, the down the line from Watson. The slice cross court from Juvan. The slice down the line from Watson. She cuts under that ball, Juvan. It's flattened cross court from Heather Watson, who steps in on the forehand side. She goes drop. She hasn't got it! Watson went for the drop shot. She didn't get it. A fist bump from Kaja Juvan. And the breakthrough has come in the 7th game of the first set, Tony, and it's gone the way of the Slovenian Kaja Juvan, who leads with the break 4-3.
Gigi, thank you very much indeed. The players are out here on centre now. It's an intriguing matchup. First up here, we've got Diane Parry, the French teenager making her Wimbledon debut against Ons Jabeur, much fancied possibly to take the title this year. She says herself, great things are coming, the world number 2. So we'll keep you across this and we'll look ahead to it in just a second after we've had the 5 Live News with Jonathan McKeith.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Tony, thank you. The latest estimates suggest the number of people with COVID has risen by almost a third in a week. The Office for National Statistics says 1 in 30 people were infected with the virus in the UK in the week up until last Saturday. Boris Johnson is under pressure to expel a Conservative MP who resigned from the government after allegedly groping 2 men at a private members' club. Chris Pincher, who was the Tory Deputy Chief Whip, said last night that he drank too much and embarrassed himself and others. French prosecutors have charged 9 men over their involvement in the sinking of a migrant boat in the Channel. 27 people drowned in the accident last year. And the lead negotiator for Network Rail says he's cautiously optimistic that an agreement will be reached with the RMT union to prevent further strikes. He says talks since last week's walkouts have been constructive.
Wimbledon 2022 with Gigi Salmon and Tony Livesey on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Back to court number 1 shortly as Heather Watson tries to retrieve that break. First, let's have a quick look to this matchup here on centre. Diane Parry against Ons Jabeur. Sarah Orchard and Annabelle Croft watching alongside me. Sarah, just a question on Ons Jabeur. I've tipped her. I've said she's capable of winning this thing. What do you make of that?
Well, she's got a fantastic chance, Tony, because she's in this side of the ladies' singles draw that is so wide open. You'd argue that if she prevails here against Diane Parry, then this will be her biggest contest because it'll be either Kerber or Mertens that she takes on. So, yeah, a wonderful opportunity. And the big headline, of course, from Ons Jabeur and the build-up to coming here to Wimbledon, that she is now, of course, the highest-ranked African player of all time. And, you know, there's so much excitement about her. But she did have a very disappointing French Open. She went out in the first round. But that's not to discount what a fantastic season she has had in the build-up to Wimbledon.
And Annabelle, we know she's good on clay. What about grass on Jabeur?
Oh, we saw her here last year, and I think it was the best match of the championships in the ladies, where she beat Muguruza out here and really captured the hearts of this centre court crowd, who absolutely loved watching her artistry out there, her sort of creative flair, all these wonderful slices and drop shots and little angles. And, you know, she really sort of spins her own web out on the court, and it's very difficult to get a rhythm against her. I just love watching her play. I think she's one of the most talented players I've ever seen, and I think most of the players in the locker room are in awe of how she swings this sort of wand, I'm going to call it, because that's what it looks like when she's playing tennis.
We'll talk later about Diane Parry, the French teenager making her debut. I've Googled you, Annabelle, and I will be taking you back to 1982 a little bit later on. I feel that was your Wimbledon debut.
Oh, my goodness.
So we'll go back. What a great time to be alive, 1982. Human League, Don't You Want Me Baby, you making your debut. Lots to look forward to. It's still raining at the cricket, by the way, but not on court number 1 where there's breakback point for Heather Watson, Gigi.
Perfect timing, Tony. 2 of them for Heather Watson, who crouches low. Kaja Juvan at 15-40, 4-3, serves down the tee, misses. And then in disgust slices that ball into the arms of the ball boy at the net. Second serve, Watson on the baseline, ready to pounce. Where does it go? That is deep. The off backhand is even deeper from Watson, who runs around and goes onto the forehand side down the line. The slice cross court drops over. In with a slice into the net goes Watson.
This has been such a strange game from Juvan. She's thrown in a couple of really loose errors, and even that backhand slice that she just went for, Heather was really on top of that and should have probably made that ball down the line, because Juvan, her ball bounced at the service line. It was sitting up. I'm not even sure what she's thinking here.
Breakpoint number 2 for Watson, who runs to the forehand, slaps it, cross-court side edge of the line. It's squash-shotted back, it's scooped up down the line from Watson. It's picked up from Juvan. It is put away from Heather Watson for the point in the break and 4-all. Listen to the crowd on court one. Immediately, Heather Watson breaks back. Mum Michelle is delighted, big smile, clapping away. Right, back to where we started, level.
Even the court coverers were fist pumping then, and Heather rightfully putting those last couple of shots away, and Juvan again just doing perhaps too much with the drop shot, and it's not landing as short as she wants it. And when she's pushed wide, she kind of goes directly into these squash shots, and Heather should be looking to really move forward straight away on top of these balls.
Half an hour played, 4-all. First serve missed from Watson. Steps forward. She's won 17, lost 17 this year, Watson. That's including qualifying matches. Juvan is so far in. She runs around the backhand. She thunders the forehand, and you can see that coming a mile off.
You can. I know we keep talking about Heather's second serve, but this is something that's going to keep popping up in this match, you feel, and Juvan isn't that worried if she gets broken, because she knows straight away that there's a chance on the return games, and her positioning is just so aggressive.
Love 15. Watson serves down the tee. It's sliced back. The backhand cross court into the centre of the court. The off forehand from Juvan. Juvan is being pushed back. She goes drop shot, but she telegraphed it. Watson comes in, goes cross court. The pick up on the lob from Juvan. The overhead from Watson. The pick up from Juvan. The popped over from Watson. She wound up as if she was going to smash it. Then she took all the pace off and said, I'm just going to delicately feather it over the net and win the point.
Telegraphed it is spot on. I mean, she opened the racket face about 25 minutes before she hit that drop shot.
She said, it's coming.
Here you go.
Off you go. 15-all, 4-all. Juvan standing further back now off this first serve as the sun shines down. The serve out wide, the forehand down the line misses, and Juvan just having a word with herself as Watson edges ahead.
That's Heather's favourite serve, the slice out wide on the juice side. She kind of allows her ball toss to get away from her a bit more so that she can get that extra spin coming around the shot.
1:41 in the afternoon on a Friday afternoon. Day 5 at Wimbledon. Watson pushed back onto the forehand, so she drops a mid-court ball. Then it just falls off the racket of Kaja Juvan, who's now having a louder word with herself as Heather Watson moves to game points. But we have breakpoint news. Centre court with Sarah Orchard.
We just had 2 break points for Ons Jabeur against the Frenchwoman Diane Parry. However, she has just lost them both. We're back to deuce now. This is still the first service game of the first set, and it is 40-all on the Parry serve.
Thank you, Sarah. It's game points for Heather Watson for 5-4. The slice cross. Oh, that floated wide. Kaja Juvan has hit a bit of a bump in the road here, the Slovenian, and Heather Watson goes from a breakdown to 5-4 up on serve.
Heather just doing well to stay positive and to stay consistent here, and she's getting so many chances from Juvan, who's just not found any sort of rhythm off her forehand side. And there was a couple of shots there that really bounced towards the bottom of the net almost, and the forehand errors if they're there, I think you've got to keep going to that side. So Heather's probably going to come out here, hopefully keep peppering on the return and stay aggressive, because her mindset so far has just been fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly has, and maybe Kaja Juvan will have to channel the philosophers that she is such a fan of. She says if she wants to switch off...
Which ones in particular?
Socrates and René Descartes. Oh, I think, therefore I am. Which he said, that she sometimes says. She said,
pretty heavy reading for a 21-year-old.
She says if she wants to switch off, she'll read, in her words, a trashy romantic teen novel. But ideally, she goes to philosophers. And that's why she gets on so well with Swiatek, who likes reading historical books.
They love a good book.
About kings and queens from years gone by. But yes, quite heavy reading.
Well, from what Swiatek says, you almost get the feeling that she doesn't think it's a good book unless it's about 800 pages.
That's a long book. Might also be a good book. Kaja Juvan, who's had a bit of a bump in the road now, has got to look to get back on track. 4-5, deep return from Watson. She's serving to stay in the first set now, the Slovenian, and she takes the first point of game number 10.
Heather's just been doing well at focusing on her own game, not really worrying about what Juvan's doing over the other side and just using the crowd as well. We've seen a couple of fist pumps up in the air towards her box.
Juvan was offered the challenge off the first serve, doesn't take it. Hawkeye's been idle so far. Well, that was a looping serve, but it did the job because the backhand is ballooned long.
There's a lot of kick on that second serve, and Heather maybe could have taken that inside the baseline, taken a leaf out of Juvan's book.
Juvan serves down the tee, the stretch off the backhand side into the middle of the court and mid-court, and it's sat up nicely. The perfect type for Juvan to settle herself with the inside-out forehand winner to bring up game points.
It's very silent in the crowd when Juvan wins a point. She's not getting a lot of love today.
I can't imagine she'd have expected to get a lot of love. But she's held to love, and that solitary voice was a Slovenian who'll be supported by her team, who we can't really see from the angle of our commentary box because they're tucked away. Well, you can...
I can see them. I see.
They look animated.
Coach,
trainer. Are they happy? Sad?
They look
watching,
fairly bored.
Oh, wow. Good.
I'll keep an eye on them. I'm sure they'll get... Well, you would think they would get a little more animated.
You'd like to think so. Imagine if she looks up and they all look bored. I mean, I can tell you that Heather Watson's mum has been animated, Michelle. She's been smiling, jumping up and down. Her coach, Diego Veronelli, is at the far end of the
He's sitting by himself.
He is sitting by him. Maybe it's the nerves. I mean, this is, as we've said, big for both players, looking for a first Grand Slam round of 16. Watson down on her haunches, hits the forehand, sits up, inside in. Big, flat strike that did enough from the Slovenian.
Love it, 15.
Very good inside-out forehand, or inside-in, rather, from Juvan. Not easy on the grass courts to even hit this shot. You've got to get the footwork going. Make sure you've got enough rotation around the ball. You can see some fantastic shoulder turn on the replay.
The photographers, all their lenses trained towards Watson as she reaches up and serves down the tee, and it's cut back into the middle of the court. The forehand flip cross court from Watson, who stretches double-handed backhand, gets back into position. It's sliced deep from Juvan, who then scampers for the sidelines and misses. She was off balance, moving one way, going the other way, but she is going to go for a challenge. And I think her box have said, what are you challenging for? Because she looks at them as if to say, well, what am I meant to do?
Well, and Heather was right on this line, so she could clearly see that it was out. And you just think if Juvan had hit the previous forehand as a topspin approach shot, it wouldn't have given Heather as much time to be able to hit the passing shot back behind her.
15 all, 5 all, 38 minutes played. Third round match here at Wimbledon. Grey conditions. Apparently next Saturday's going to be 28 degrees, apparently.
We deserve some heat.
We do. It's meant to be summer. 15 all. Heather Watson reaching up under the visor, looks up to the skies. Oh, Juvan tried to drop shot off the returner serve, down on one knee as she struck it, and she misses.
30-15.
We saw a successful forehand drop shot return from Juvan earlier in the match, but it's a very risky play, and you've got to try and slow down your racket head speed off an even slower serve.
30-15, 5 all. Watson serves out wide. Backhand's in play in the centre. The slice from Watson so low, and Watson slices down the line. Wow, these slices from Watson. Two fabulous sliced balls that drew the error and brings up game points.
40-15.
A little bit of sunshine. Points for 6-5 in the first set. Juvan waits, leaning forward. Watson ready, looking to edge ahead, guarantee herself at least a tiebreak. Serves out wide. That ball sits up nicely in the middle of the court. The backhand cross court. The lob is up from Juvan. It will find the court. Watson runs around, goes inside out, takes some pace off the ball, drops it mid-court, comes cross court from Juvan. It's up the line and it's wide from Watson.
Just wide. Could have gone one more cross court. Juvan was covering the open court, so a back behind shot would have worked incredibly well then. Still game point. Heather not giving anything away here.
She twists the racket once to the right hand. She looks at her opponent, then she looks down and starts bouncing up to about knee height with the left hand. Ball meets the racket frame. She looks across, tosses it up into the sunlight and serves down the tee, and you hear the cry of out. So the same routine is followed for the second serve, but there's a big difference in speeds. Juvan, inside the baseline, 40-30, inside in, picked up on the slice through the middle of the court, the drop shot from Juvan. Here comes Heather Watson, she scoops up, she's fallen over, the court is open and she is flat on her front, Heather Watson. We hope and we think she's okay, because she is down on the grass.
That was a heavy fall, and we can just see on her leg how much chalk or paint she's got from the line all the way down her side. And just lost her footing, slid forward. That could have been so much worse on her ankle.
What it's done is it's tightened up this game. Game number 11 of set number 1. Looked comfortable for Watson to close out for 6-5. Not so now as we're at deuce. An opportunity for Kaja Juvan as Watson reaches up, serves down the tee, the stretch on the backhand into the middle of the court. Watson with the off forehand, the backhand double-handed cross-court onto the service line from Watson. That's a mid-court high ball that's set up so invitingly for Heather Watson to put away.
It deserved to be put away, and it was. Heather right on top of that ball. Forehand cross-court winner. Juvan slice backhand. I mean, the theme of the day is just telegraphing the drop shots and the slices.
That one had a little bow on it. A gift for Heather Watson, who has a point now for 6-5. 42 minutes played. 1:50 in the afternoon as Heather Watson reaches up and serves out wide and misses. Ball girl back into position. Just watching their footing. The grass can be slippery, especially in the lush green areas out wide and at the back. Watson serves the second serve. She's run round, hit the forehand back off the return. The backhand from Juvan is deep. It pushes Watson back into a forehand that drops short. Watson with the forehand trying to steady herself, but she cannot get up to this baseline. Watson with a double-handed backhand through the middle of the court. This is being dictated by Juvan. Can she finish it off with a backhand? No, Watson steadies herself and goes cross-court for the winner. There's the point, there's the game, and there's the roar. Heather Watson, 6-5 in the first set. Meanwhile, breakpoint on Jabeur on centre court.
It's a double breakpoint. Jabeur winds up a forehand. She thinks she's listening and she knows that 5 Live is listening to her as it just comes off the racket there. She's still got 2 more double break points and she has been playing some really fantastic tennis here. The 3rd seed, the world number 2. She's already got a few titles in her back pocket. Berlin and Madrid in the build-up to Wimbledon. Forehand comes back then from Jabeur. We're on the parry serve. She sends a nice one into the corner. Annabelle Croft watching alongside. Jabeur already, she's 2-love up in this first set. She's got another opportunity to get up the double break. She's looked good.
Yeah, she really has looked good. She looks very comfortable out on the grass courts already, and that forehand is doing a lot of damage, isn't it? She's really looking for the forehand all the time. It's got a lot of spin and rotation on it, but she can do so many different things with it, go a little bit of angle on it, and she's just chipped a return off that forehand side as well. I have to say, Diane Parry, very unusual to see the single-handed backhand out on the women's tour. It's a real throwback to Marismo days, isn't it? So she's a very attractive style of player, but at the moment I think she's being rather overpowered.
Yeah, and only 19 years old, the French woman Parry, but those 3 double break points have gone now for Jabeur. We're at deuce here. She still leads 2-love in the first set. Gigi.
Thank you to Sarah and Annabelle. We'll be back on centre court very shortly. But Kaja Juvan, 21 years of age, world number 62, career high of 58 at the start of this year. Serving to stay in the first set at 5-6. And the first serve clips the top of the net as it goes down the centre line, down the tee. Watson, knees bent, leaning forward, steps up. And the first serve misses down exactly that same spot down the tee. Ball boy's back in position. Juvan goes back down the tee, 3rd time lucky. She gets it.
15 love.
Heather's backhand return just sails long, and that was another one of those tricky kick serves from Juvan where it just flies over Heather's left shoulder. I've got to think backwards because I'm a left-hander. Yeah, it is the left shoulder. Yeah.
Kaja Juvan serves out wide, then slices, drops the ball over. It's sliced and it's cut back cross court. She draws Juvan in, she draws Watson in. Now they're both pushed back and Watson steps forward. The slice again, the slice from Juvan down the line. It's 15-love, it's 5-6. Juvan flattens out the forehand cross court, pushes Juvan back, but it's an error from Watson. She got drawn into that slicing with Juvan. The error from Watson, who shakes her head, and it's 30-love.
I actually think Heather is better at that slice game than Juvan is, even though it's not her regular style. I mean, I've seen Heather in training do these slice cross-court rallies, and she just never misses. So comfortable getting low underneath the ball. So I feel like Juvan's just using it too much at the moment.
Juvan at 30 love 5-6. Serve helping her. She's telling herself to come on her. She's not getting a lot from her box. She's just sort of doing it herself.
No, I said I would keep an eye on them, but I haven't
Still
really.
at board.
Yeah, I've not really done my job, but they are still looking at a little bit dreary.
Dreary, there's a word.
Let's for serve.
They look dreary.
Well, there's a couple people on their phones as well.
Oh, wow. Game points for the tiebreak. And there's the tiebreak. Good serving from Kaja Juvan, who has a little look up. And maybe that's what, because people want different things from their boxes. Maybe she wants dreary and ball. But do you see what I mean? Some people want you...
I don't know that any players looking for dreary.
I'd like you to be dreary today. Just keep me in check.
It's a very good hold then from Juvan. She's playing much better tennis when she actually hits through the ball a bit more, when she goes for the bigger shots from the baseline. The grass is starting to play a little bit quicker as the tournament goes on.
Tiebreak. Heather Watson with the first point. Serves, hits the top of the net, drifts long. Juvan says, I know what I can be getting off your second serve, so I'm coming forward. I'm going to put some pressure on you. How does Watson react as the wind blows the back of her skirt and she serves? She puts that in, and a forehand up the line and a stretch from Watson, and the driving forehand volley cross-court winner from Juvan.
Heather just taps the racket there, saying too good. And it really was. The forehand return was on fire, followed up straight away with another forehand drive volley. Juvan does really well at getting up to the drive volleys with so much time to spare.
Now it's Juvan's turn to have a couple of points. So where she gets set for her second serve, we can get the latest with Jonathan on court 2.
This really is a fantastic match between TFO and Bublik. TFO leading the match by 2-1. He led comfortably by a break, 3 love with points for 4 love as well in this fourth set. Bublik's just started doing Bublik things, just entertaining, tiptoeing just on the right side of the line, unlike Kyrgios, but they're both entertainers. And Bublik's been doing through the leg serves. He's just played an audacious defensive shot through the legs at the back of the court, and he's ended up winning that point. He's really fighting as well as entertaining, and he's got this fourth set back on serve. TFO 4-3 ahead in it, leading by 2-1.
He is the master of improvisation, Alexander Bublik, as Watson volleys away to go 2-1 to the good against Kaja Juvan and have the advantage in this tiebreaker. Meanwhile, on centre court, Onjabeur has gone 3 love up on Diane Parry.
It was an ugly double fault from Juvan to go 1-1 in the breaker and then just playing a little bit passive in the rally to lose that last point. Heather the one to finish off with a lovely volley cross court.
So 2-1 with the advantage. Watson, who serves down the tee and misses, and that ends
close.
up. Gentleman's just upset he didn't catch it, dropped it. He's now talking to the woman about why he did drop it, and she's just laughing at him, and he's handed the ball back. Meanwhile, Watson is ready to serve and serves out wide. Juvan runs round and hits the inside out forward and puts her in control of this point, comes forward, but she didn't let the ball bounce. She took it out of the air. She pushes it long, and it's 3-1 Watson.
A bit of a brain freeze from Juvan. She played a fantastic inside-out forehand return. We've seen her hit some of those so well today, but then got caught between trying to hit a drive volley and a volley. Played that last shot somewhere in the middle when she could have let that one bounce.
3-1. Watson with the second of her 2 points at this stage. The wind blowing the skirt of Juvan, who steps up. It was heading out wide to the forehand of the 21-year-old, who Laura said beat Beatrice Haddad-Maia in the first round, who had 2 grass court titles on this run, Haddad-Maia, and then got to the semi-finals at Eastbourne. 3-1. It was a big scalp down the tee. A miss hit off the backhand. It'll land in. Watson watches it, hits it above shoulder height. The backhand cross court onto the service line. The slice cross court on the backhand from Juvan. Hits a double-handed flat. The double-hander redirected up the line from Watson. Clips top of the net from Juvan. Lands in. Backhand cross court from Watson. Slice down the line. Oh, that's good from Juvan. The slice deep from Watson. The cross court winner from the Slovenian.
It's the best run of shots that we've seen from her today.
3-2. Watson.
Playing her diverse game, as she calls it, but in the right way. There was a well-disguised drop shot. We haven't seen many of those. And again, finishing it off with the inside-out forehand, which has just been her best shot so far.
And I can confirm that all members of her box are now off their phones. They've decided at 2-3 in the tie-break, they should put them down and pay some attention. Serve out wide. The backhand from Watson pushes Juvan into an inside in. She now scampers forward with the forehand down the other wing. She's at the net now, Juvan, but she can't pick up the low ball to her feet from Watson. 4-2 Heather Watson.
Again, we can see that Juvan
4-2.
has a lot of variation in her game, but the net play is not one of them. She's comfortable hitting the drive volleys, but the volleys still have a lot of room for improvement. She's not really covering the sort of court that you would expect as you come forward, and then you can see that your opponent has that line open.
It's a 4-2 Watson. They have the break after 6 points. They've both gone back to their chairs, had a slug of drink, used the towel. In Juvan's case, he'll take her towel to the back of the court, and now she'll have the second of her 2 points at this stage to serve. Heather Watson in front of us, twisting the racket in the right hand, now looking at the strings of the racket, now shadow swinging off the forehand, then the backhand as Kaja Juvan gets ready and just bounces up and down on her toes. She's set, 2-4 down. Juvan serves and misses, going into the backhand of the right-hander. Second serve from the Slovenian goes down the tee. That sits up, kicked up through the middle of the court. The backhand from Watson. Watson with the backhand down the line. Forehand into the centre from Juvan. The drop shot from Watson. Here comes Juvan, scoops up, clips the top of the net. The lob goes up. Oh, she's got it, and not for the first time in this match.
Heather beating Juvan at her own game. She's played some
5-2.
perfectly placed lobs today, hasn't she, Heather? And playing them at the right time when she's forced Juvan into the net. Knows it's probably coming to her backhand side and then just takes the pace off.
2 points from the first set. Watson now with the balls. Reaches up and serves down the tee. It's cut back, it's drop short, it's scooped up by Watson, who scampers back to the baseline. Watson has to pick up a ball. It's a high ball. It's driven out of the air by Juvan, and it's a winner. 5-3 Watson.
5-3 Watson.
Not an easy overhead to finish it off from Juvan. Off the back foot.
Crowd is silent once more. The photographers are now confused as to who to train their lenses towards. Now they've all decided it is Heather Watson who will have their attention. 5-3, looking to bring up set points. Serve down the tee. The backhand is bunted back, sits mid-court and high. The forehand cross-court into the corner. The forehand netted. And that, come on, that screech you heard was Heather Watson, because she's brought up triple set point.
6-3 Watson.
And Juvan is gesturing towards her box saying, give me a little bit more, come on. She's got the balls, but it's Heather Watson who's got the set points. It's just gone 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Set point Watson. Juvan serves out wide. The backhand inside the baseline from Watson. Watson scampers the forehand side, hits it cross-court to the serve line. Forehand down the line. Just side edge of the sideline.
Oh, it was so close. I thought that Heather might have even challenged that one. It looked like it was going to go wide. Must have just dropped in. Still 2 chances for Watson.
And this second of the 3 on the Juvan serve. The breeze is picked up as she serves now, serves down the tee. The backhand through the middle of the court. Juvan scoops up and slices the ball down the line. Backhand netted from Watson. She was down on one knee like she was proposing to that ball. It rejected the proposal. It found the net. The second set point is gone. But now for Heather Watson, the third at this point will be on her serve.
A huge moment here. see if Heather can make a first serve.
3 balls down to 2 balls, down to the one that she has faith in at 6-5 in the first set tiebreak. 55 minutes on the match clock for a place in the Wimbledon round of 16. Watson settles, readies, looks, tosses the ball up. Set point, nets. Juvan twisting the racket in her right hand, ready to take up her position just inside the baseline to put some extra pressure on Watson in this second serve. Set point, Watson goes down the tee. The forehand is cut short, drop short. The forehand scoop cross court from Watson. Back to the Watson forehand, who goes through the centre of the court. The forehand cross court very deep from Juvan, drops it a little bit shorter. The forehand cross court, back to the forehand of Watson. They go forehand to forehand, cross court to cross court. They are both playing it really safe here. Dropping the ball short, Juvan. Back to the Juvan forehand. It's set point Watson who redirects it. The slice there from Juvan down the line. She's targeting. She's brought Watson in. Can she pass Watson? Watson with the volley. It sits up. Here comes Juvan into the corner of the volley from Watson. Here comes Juvan. She's got it! Juvan passes Watson. Watson down on the ground for the second time in this set. The 3 set points have gone in. It is 6 points all.
Wow, that was nervy from both players. The forehands cross court got more and more passive as the points went on, and Heather was just desperately trying not to lose that point rather than to win it herself. And even though she hit the volley short, they just didn't have enough on them.
The players change ends once again, so let's cross back to Sarah Orchard on centre court.
Yes, well, it's very tense over on number 1. We're watching a little bit of magic here from the 3rd seed on Juvan on centre. She's 5 love up and coming out to serve to take the first set against the Frenchwoman Diane Parry, who has no answer so far for the world number 2. Gigi.
Thank you, Sarah. Kaja Juvan found 3 answers to those set points, but now having changed ends, Heather Watson has the second of her 2 points at this stage to serve. Who gets the set point? Crowd is silent. Players are ready. Juvan twists the racket. Watson looks across. Juvan standing away back for this first serve of Watson. 6 points apiece. 2 minutes shy of an hour. Watson with the serve hits the top of the net, drifts long. So Juvan marches way inside the baseline saying, come on then, I'm waiting, I'm here. Extra pressure on the serve now. The breeze picks up. The second serve is coming from Watson. Juvan is so close. Runs around, takes on the forehand, thumps it deep. Watson's there, manages to keep the forehand in play. Into the corner goes Juvan with her forehand, looking for her first set point. The backhand cross court from Watson into the middle of the court. The forehand flick cross court from Juvan. Juvan steps up to the forehand, going down line to the double-hander backhand cross court of Watson. Juvan runs around. Inside in she goes. Forehand cross court from Watson. Cross court from Juvan. They go back into this rally, going cross court with the forehand. It's a looping one from Watson. Flattened out inside in, and it's long from Kaja Juvan. She can challenge. She has the challenge. She should challenge, and she has challenged.
It's a similar point to the last one, wasn't it? All the pace being taken off. Both players waiting for the errors. That is out.
And that's why you hear the roar, because it is set point 4 for Heather Watson.
7-6. Surely, 4th time lucky. Someone's just got to go for it.
Kaja Juvan with the ball and with the serve. 7-6 Watson. Juvan with the serve. Thunders off the top of the net and long. She was going for it with that first serve.
It's going to be one of these kick serves.
Oh, double fault! The pressure tells on Kaja Juvan, and Heather Watson says to the crowd, come on then, let's hear you, and they do. They're on their feet for Heather Watson. It was 4th time lucky, and it's Heather Watson who is a set away from her first Grand Slam round of 16 as Laura Robson, she closes it out at the 4th time of asking.
Well, Juvan's been telegraphing the drop shots, and that double fault was telegraphed as well. You could see it coming. She took all the pace off, and the last couple of points, Juvan just lost all the bravery in her game, and Heather just held strong, kept making the ball. And that was very, very nervous towards the end, but she's over the line and she's a set up.
Whew, there we go, Tony. My word, an hour on the clock for that one, but it's Heather Watson who sits down the happier, a set to the good.
I'll tell you what, Gigi, I have no TV screen here on centre, and listening to that, I am purely a listener, and my adrenaline's through the roof. I don't know how you're coping. That's fantastic. So stressful, that, listening to Heather Watson take that take that first set. There's a break point here, though, on centre, surprisingly, Sarah Orchard.
Yes, it's a breakback point for Diane Parry, the 19-year-old Frenchwoman who's taking on the force of nature that is Tunisia's
Francis,
Anjou. She's the
congratulations.
third seed. She's number 2
you guys
in the
certainly
world.
got this crowd up on their feet,
And,
that's for sure.
at the
What
moment
a
on the
comeback
far
that
side
was from being a set down. What do you make
waiting
of how
there.
you managed to come through such a tough fight?
It was definitely a tough one. At the end, when he was hitting 100 serves and a lot of antics, I was close to losing my head. But yeah, I'm just glad I got through that. Obviously, he's a very good player, very tricky player, very talented. So, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of great points. And
Yeah. I've just been told to do exactly what I've just done. Yeah, so we've got a technical issue on the sound. So we're hearing an interview from the winner on court 2, Francis Tiafoe. In the meantime, let's go to Salford. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Tony. Good afternoon. The Prime Minister thinks the behaviour of the former Deputy Chief Whip is unacceptable. Boris Johnson's been under pressure to expel Chris Pincher from the party, following claims he groped 2 men at a private club. Thangam Debonair is the shadow leader of the House of Commons.
Chris Pincher is admitting to poor behaviour, and this seems to be typical of this Tory government, led by Boris Johnson, that he and his government seem absolutely unable to govern. And I really urge Tory MPs who are propping up Boris Johnson to do the decent thing, get him to move on for the sake of the country.
Ukraine says Russian missile strikes on civilian targets in and around the port of Odessa have killed at least 19 people. Rescue workers have been treating dozens of others for their injuries. COVID infection rates are up more than 30%. New figures show nearly 2.3 million people in the UK had the virus in the week ending last Saturday. Christina Pagel is a professor of operational research at University College London.
It doesn't seem to be more severe so far. What worries me a bit is that for the same prevalence that we're seeing, so about 3.5% in England, the last time we were there was in February this year, and then we had far fewer hospital admissions than we have now. So there's some kind of disconnect, and that could be because boosters are waning.
The RMT union says it's not in any rush to call for further rail strikes this month. Eddie Dempsey, the union's senior assistant general secretary, says there's been an intense week of discussions with Network Rail. The two sides are trying to reach an agreement over pay and conditions. A Bulgarian woman has been placed on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list for allegedly running a cryptocurrency scam. Ruya Ignatova, who became known as the missing crypto queen, has been accused of defrauding victims out of more than £3.2 billion. She's been missing since 2017. And one of the world's most popular YouTubers has died at the age of 23. Technoblade taught people how to play Minecraft and rose to fame live streaming and posting clips of himself. His dad called him the most amazing kid anyone could ever ask for. Last year, he revealed he'd been diagnosed with cancer.
BBC 5 Live.
The voice of sport. From the first serve to game, set and match. It's time to take you behind the scenes and to the heart of SW19.
A very good afternoon from Centre Court.
I'm Jonathan Overend, and throughout the championships, the Wimbledon Daily Podcast will bring you reaction to the biggest stories from the day's play. From a Raducanu masterclass,
she smashes it away to win,
to strawberries and cream on Henman Hill.
The atmosphere here will be loud.
We'll capture just what makes Wimbledon, Wimbledon. The Wimbledon Daily Podcast. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Wimbledon 2022 with Gigi Salmon and Tony Livesey on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Yes, good afternoon. We'll be back to court number 1 in just a second to see if Heather Watson can capitalise on that first set that she took just a few moments ago. In the meantime, though, there's a result from court 2 with Jonathan Overend.
Yes, Francis Tiafoe seeing off Alexander Bublik by 3-1 in a match so full of entertainment. I think we'll be hard pushed to beat it at Wimbledon on this 5th day. The best moment of all was when Bublik was a breakdown in the 4th set, 3-love. He was break point down. He faulted on his first serve with an underarm serve and then decided to hit a 129-mile-an-hour second serve, which was an ace. I mean, that's just Alexander Bublik for you. It was fun. He almost got himself back into that set to force a decider, but credit to Tiafoe for getting himself over the line, and he takes his place in, what is it? What's he through to? 4th round.
The next round. Yeah. That's my go-to every time, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Let's head back to court number 1, where there's a break point. Ian Carter.
A break point for Heather Watson, having just taken the first set here against Kaja Juvan of Slovenia, and a big forehand from Watson. She'll go with that again, cross court to the forehand, into the net from Juvan, and the break in the very first game of the second set goes the way of the British player. Heather Watson goes 1-love ahead in the second set, having taken the first set by 7 games to 6, 8-6 on the tiebreak.
Well, it was an equally nervous first game of the second set, wasn't it? And Juvan went love 30, then she played a couple of good points, and then again taking the pace off when she needs to really push forward. But Heather can just sit back and play her preferred game style, which is behind the baseline, you know, hardly missing any balls and wait for the mistake. So this is ideal for Heather. It's sometimes not easy when you get a break early on in the second set when you're feeling nervous, because then you almost want it at 4-all instead. I mean, you've got it in your head, oh, if I just keep holding my serve, then I'm going to close this match out.
It can alter the mindset, presumably.
It can, and then you can then take another step back and get even more passive, because you're just hoping to win rather than actually playing to win.
Well, there's a wonderful opportunity now for Heather Watson to make it to the last 16 for the first time at Wimbledon. She's up a set, she's up a break, and she's serving here on number 1 court to the forehand, and a wild forehand return goes long from Juvan, who's looking a little rattled.
She is rattled. I think she's not played her best tennis today, and the variety that we so often see from her isn't really her best game plan against Heather, because Heather's quite happy to go underneath the slices and to slice back, to mix in with drop shots herself. So she's now just looking a bit flustered. Heather misses a forehand volley there. But you feel that the more variety Juvan tries to throw at Heather, the worse it's going to get almost.
So that volleyed error means it's 15-all in the second game of the second set. They've played each other once before. That was at last year's US Open in the first round. Very easy win for Juvan on that occasion. That one just missing down the centre line from the serve of Heather Watson. But as Watson said yesterday, that was a different time. I was a different person then. And a forehand cross-court return, and then guided back by Watson. This sits up for Juvan to attack on the backhand. Now she'll run to the forehand side and go down the line and steers it into the sidelines when she had the ascendancy in the rally, Juvan.
30 for 10.
And looking back at US Open last year, Heather had hardly any confidence in her game, and Juvan obviously wasn't as nervous as well, being only the first round of a slam rather than this, which is a third round, and would be the best result for either of them.
Yep, to get through to the last 16 would be uncharted territory for both. So let's head back to centre, because there are 3 set points, I think, Sarah, for Ons Jabeur.
Yes, it's taken her 38 minutes to get to this point. We've seen a bit of a fight back from Diane Parry, the 19-year-old, but it's Jabeur serving that far into the court. She does it with an ace alongside me, Annabelle Croft. I mean, this is a stylish woman we are watching play tennis in Jabeur.
Yeah, it's been absolutely mesmerising, hasn't it? I mean, she's had all the answers for everything that's been thrown at her, but not only that, she's kind of conducting this tennis match. We're seeing lots of slices, loads of drop shots, awkward sort of angles on the shots that she's playing, and then some big serving. Actually, I think the grass courts really help her serve. She's not one of the biggest servers in the women's game, but you know, the grass, it kind of slides through just a little bit. And Parry, she's got a beautiful game herself, but I think she's inexperienced, and Ons Jabeur just has too much for her.
Yeah, if anyone actually reads the column that Ons Jabeur has done on the BBC Sport website, she talks about being the Minister for Happiness in Tunisia, and I can tell you, anyone who's watching on centre court now, they'll be pretty happy watching her at the moment. She is a setup. She's taken the first 6-2.
And here on court number 1, Heather Watson with an easy high volley at the net, puts away. It was almost half a smash, wasn't it? Just popped it into an open court, and easy as you like, opens a 2-love lead at the start of the second set. And the errors are coming from the Juvan racket at the moment, and Watson will be enjoying that as we get ready for the third game now. And the taller Slovenian serves down the centre, backhand return, and then the forehand is a clean winner from Juvan as she came in and took that short ball, standing almost on the tee as she delivered the stroke.
She needs to do that so much more, and I'm actually really surprised that we haven't seen more of that today, because she's got such a nice ground stroke when she really gets after the ball, and we haven't seen too many pacey serves today. She's taken a bit of pace off. She's going for this kick on the second serve, which is really sitting up for Watson to take advantage of.
Yeah, she did there with the backhand return, and then she completely mishits
30 love.
a forehand off the baseline. Does Heather Watson, so 30 love. She doesn't look overly perturbed at the moment. She's enjoying this situation, leading by a set and 2 love. Forehand return, oh lovely, right onto the sideline, clean winner from Heather Watson, right in her zone.
30 for 10.
She must feel so much relief having got through that first set, and it was 6-3 in the tie-break and then 6-all, finally closed it out 8-6. And can maybe relax a bit more now.
Backhand return cross-court, and then Watson winds up for another off-forehand clean winner onto the sideline. Really good stuff, this from Heather Watson.
Yeah, a double break would seriously help here for Heather to just have that extra bit of breathing room on the scoreboard, not have to worry about holding serve only once.
Juvan serves, backhand return, and then the backhand lifted onto the baseline by Juvan, smoothly struck, beautifully struck by Watson, who then hits a topspin forehand, then goes to the forehand again, down the line, hits the line, and another winner in this game to set up a point for a double break. And the ground strokes have been immaculate. The ball striking beautiful.
30 for 10.
And she said that she's found something in practice and she's taken it to the courts that wasn't there at Eastbourne last week. Well, it is right now. And now here, a point for a double break. Down the line from Juvan, wild and long, and there is the double break. An hour and 12 minutes on the clock, and Heather Watson now in cruise control. She has the first set on a dogged tie-break coming from a breakdown in that first set, and now 2 breaks to the good in the second set. She leads it, Tony, by 3 games to love.
Ian, thank you. We will take this opportunity. Just by the way, here on centre, Ange Jabeur, the world number 2, took the first set 6-2, and Diane Parry has held in the first game of the second set, the teenage debutant, which is good for her. Right, let's just pop to Edgbaston. The play, I believe, Ellie Oldroyd in the 5th test against India is underway.
Yes, we had a break of about 2 hours for rain, Tony, in which time lunch was taken. So India have progressed to 59 for 2, 61 for 2. Now a couple more runs there to Hanuma Vihari. Virat Kohli at the other end is on 6. He very nearly chopped onto his own leg stump with the very first ball after the break, but it went for 4 instead. So Anderson with a couple of wickets of Gill and Pujara earlier on. And I suspect that most of the Barmy army in the Holly stand will have spent that 2 hours rain break in the bar. So no need for the players to be whipping the crowd up and getting them behind them in this game. 62 for 2 India.
Cheers, Ellie, thank you. A couple of other sports headlines for you this afternoon. Alfa Romeo driver Valtteri Bottas was fastest in first practice ahead of the British Grand Prix, with Mercedes Lewis Hamilton's second fastest and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz third quickest in it. It was a rain-affected session. The Brazilian forward Richarlison says no words are enough to thank Everton fans after he completed a £60 million from Goodison to Spurs. Police say 14 locations across 6 countries have been searched as they investigate possible doping offences in cycling. The searches came just days ahead of the start of the Tour de France, which begins in Copenhagen this afternoon. And during the Women's Euros, you'll be able to hear 5 live sport build-up and commentary on the iPlayer, Red Button and the BBC Sport website of every England and Northern Ireland group game and every knockout match in the competition. Don't forget the Euros kick off with England against Austria on Wednesday, live from Old Trafford with build-up from 7. Let's get back to Court 1 where Heather Watson's going motoring along. Ian Watson, no, Ian Carter. I used to work with someone called Ian Watson. That's why I've just done that. Do apologise.
Just become a political correspondent, haven't I? Kaja Juvan with another forehand error. So the first point of this game goes the way of the British player, Heather Watson. And she is, as you say, motoring at the moment, Tony, leading 3-love in the second set by 1 set to love and striking the ball beautifully from the baseline again. And she has her opponent on the run. Chop back and long. 2 errors in the opening 2 points from the Slovenian in this game.
30
What a
love.
difference it makes to have that double break behind you. Heather now a little bit more free to go for some extra pace on the serve. We can see her still getting after the forehand side. It doesn't look like Juvan's really going to dig deep here either. She's hitting a lot of unforced errors. Even
she's
that one.
gone long on the service return there. That might have been worth a challenge. It's the line nearest us.
40 love.
But the line judge was very sharply onto it, and there was no thought of a challenge from Juvan. So 40 love. This for a 4-love lead. Serves into the net, Watson.
Even the fact that she didn't challenge that shows to me that she's not looking for a chance to get back in the match.
Yeah, I was surprised. Second serve is good. Chopped 400 turn. Watson's in, plays the drop shot beautifully. Pops it over the net, easy as you like. 4-love, easy as you like. And Watson closing in on the round of 16 for the first time in her career. Right, let's check in on the cricket. There's been a wicket, I think, Ellie.
Yes, there has. Hannah Vihari trapped LBW by Matt Potts, bang on the knee roll. Thought about reviewing it, didn't even bother to do that. It was clearly out. He's out for 20. What a discovery Matthew Potts has been for England in this summer so far. But watch out for some fireworks, because Rishabh Pant is joining Virat Kohli out in the middle. India 64 for 3.
Great stuff, well worth a listen as commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, or 5 Sports Extra as we call it now. 4-love here for Heather Watson. First serve from Juvan hits the top of the net. Second attempt at that first serve is good, and then the backhand cross court from Watson and into the net from Juvan. And the errors are coming thick and fast for this 21-year-old from Ljubljana in Slovenia. And she looks a disconsolate and beaten player at the moment.
Well, the first set was just over an hour, and we're now at 4-love at an hour and 17 minutes. So these are quick games, they're quick points. Juvan just not trying to do anything different here.
Second serve after the first comfortably went into the net. Lovely backhand cross-court return from Watson, who then eases a lovely forehand. She's just got her opponent on a piece of string at the moment. She'll take this on the full, goes cross-court. Defensive lob hoisted. Watson underneath it, smashes it away. Oh, there's nothing she can do wrong right now. Controlled the point, and her opponent had to run absolutely miles for absolutely nothing there.
Heather's just in front of us, and I can just see how calm she is at the moment. She's not looking up at the box or the crowd or getting involved. She's hardly making a sound. Just taking it point by point.
Serve just long. So second serve. Love 30, love 4 for Juvan here. Oh, double fault for top of the net. And she is unravelling. She knows the game is up.
She's totally lost her level, hasn't she? And maybe just thinking about the tiebreak still, what a chance that was. Saved all those set points to then just crumble.
And Watson with the backhand return down the centre of the court. Flat trajectory, big forehand, and in comes Juvan and then nets. Well, she'd done the hard work in that point, and then she dumped it in the net. There is another game for Heather Watson, and she's just one game away from the last 16 now, as we check in with Aaron Paul.
Thank you, Ian. 2-times doubles champion Jack Sock has knocked out fellow countryman Maxime Cressy after a full-set tiebreak. Sock leading 2 sets before suspension of play yesterday. Looked like he was succumbing to Maxime Cressy's strong net game as Cressy took the third and squandered 2 set points in the fourth. But Sock recovered strongly to break the Cressy serve and wipe his opponent down in the tiebreak and take the match 6-4, 6-4, 3-6, 7-6.
Well, I make it that Kaja Juvan has won only 6 points in this second set here. And it's been a combination, hasn't it, Laura, of some excellence from Watson, but also an absolute capitulation from the Slovenian.
And not a combination that you want, really. I mean, Heather's level has stayed very even across this second set. She's looking better and better as the scoreline gets to 5-love. She's now so free to come out and serve this out with no pressure. I don't feel like Juvan's going to dig deep and find a way to lengthen out these rallies. But even if she does, Heather's so confident.
1 hour and 20 minutes on court, but the bulk of that was taken up in an absorbing first set. Won 8-6 on the tie-break by Heather Watson, and now she's motored through the second set. Now she's serving for the match, and a backhand return, and then Watson picks it up on the backhand from the baseline, moves into the forehand corner, lifts it right onto the baseline. Real accuracy from Heather Watson, and it proves too much for Juvan, who goes long.
15 love.
And this could have been a really difficult match for Heather. All the emotions of trying to make the fourth round for the first time. She's just been relentlessly positive.
Serves down the centre, and especially when you consider that her first 2 matches were played over multiple days. She said she got next to no sleep because she was taking caffeine to keep herself awake. And then, of course, that was counterproductive when she tried to get sleep at night. She'll sleep well tonight, with a smile on her face, I think. Backhand into the net from Heather Watson.
15 all.
So just the 7th point of the set for Kaja Juvan. 15 all, 5 love. Watson glances down the court, sees her opponent. Tall figure with blonde hair, white visor on. Watson serves down the centre, and that's a service winner as it comes harmlessly off the frame of the Slovene racket. 3 points away.
And one of the biggest serves of the match from Heather in terms of miles per hour, 103 down the tee. She's now feeling so good that she's even mixing up from her favourite serve out wide and going flatter.
Misses with the first serve this time, into the net at 102 miles per hour. Looking very composed, though. Down there at the far end. Second serve into the net. Double fault. Didn't see that coming.
Understandable, just showing a few signs of nerves.
Bounces on her toes. The crowd encourage. What can Juvan do here? Large chance saloon for her. Watson serves back into the body, backhand return, then the forehand from Watson, and she'll wind up for another forehand, looping it high over the net, nice and conservative. Then she goes backhand cross court, drop shot from Juvan. Watson after it, can't get there. She was too far behind the baseline to start that journey, and that was beautifully played by Juvan, who's clenching her fist and saying, hang on a minute, it's not over yet. Break point.
It's probably one of the best drop shots that Juvan has hit all match. She disguised it well, waited for the right time when she saw Heather had made the split step already, which makes it harder to then sprint forward.
30-40. First time in this set that there's been any pressure on the Watson serve, and she misses down the centre.
Please. Thank you.
Watson, who came so close against Serena Williams all those years ago. Now serves. Second serve is good. Forehand return low over the net. Picked up by Watson. Short ball for Juvan to attack. Well picked up by Watson. Drop shot again. Watson's after it. This time she gets there. Guides it down the line. Up goes the high ball. Watson can put this away. She doesn't, but she does the second time. She's at the net and drives the backhand volley cross court to stay in the game.
Incredible pickup from Heather off the drop shot. Juvan, I think, was a bit surprised by that, so she didn't get the lob that she wanted. There wasn't enough height on the ball. 2 drive volleys to finish it off from Heather, and back to deuce.
That should calm this 30-year-old down. Ranked 121 in the world, and of course no ranking points. That's the big downside.
Gutting, isn't it?
It's seriously gutting, especially given that she dropped out of the world's top 100 in February. Serve, forehand cross-court return, then the forehand down the line, sliced back by Juvan, top-spun back by Watson as she goes cross-court. Then she'll go with that top-spun forehand again, finding the forehand of her opponent, who then goes with the backhand. Watson's there with the forehand, driving it down the centre of the court. Good depth from Juvan, who then plays the slice. This is the time to attack for Watson, but Juvan is more than a measure for it. She comes up with a forehand winner down the line, over the high part of the net, and that was high-quality tennis from the player ranked 62 in the world.
Again, some sign of nerves from Heather. I think just getting a little bit passive in that point, waiting for the mistake. But, I mean, so understandable. trying to close out the match.
That's so much momentum.
Almost easier to break for the match rather than to try and serve it out yourself.
Serve, backhand return, then Watson powers the forehand break point here, and Watson's in at the net, plays a probing volley, now she can smash, and Juvan nearly got to it. She smashed to the backhand. It was anticipated by the Slovenian, but there was just too much venom on that smash, and break point is saved.
Coach Diego fist pumped in the air, and he's actually just trying to tell her to take the towel here, to take some extra time between the points. Slow things down.
Wonder what Mum is thinking, Michelle, right now.
Michelle's sort of sandwiched between two other people, I think, to try and keep her in her seat. She's so nervous.
Serve into the body, backhand return. Now Watson will attack with the forehand to the forehand side. Now Watson plays the little dink down the line, met by the slice, and another slice from Watson. And then Juvan with a big forehand. Too much for Watson, who chops it into the net.
Advantage, Juvan.
And Heather did have a little bit of trouble closing out her last round as well. They had to come back, of course, yesterday, but on Wednesday night, sort of went 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, and then they called it off for darkness.
I watched her yesterday. It was ruthless in that game. She came from 30 love down to break the Wang serve to close it out in the very first game on the resumption. But you're right, the night before it was nervy. So, Juvan with another break point here. 5 love down. Here's Watson serving. Forehand into the backhand corner from Juvan, right onto the baseline from Watson, who then goes with the forehand cross court. Lovely depth from Juvan. Defensive backhand creeps over the net. Juvan's at the net, takes it on the bounce and pops it away for the break of serve and gets herself onto the scoreboard. And for the first time in this second set, Watson leading it by 5 games to 1. Let's return to the cricket. Eleanor Aldroyd, another wicket.
Absolutely brilliant ball by Matthew Potts. Virat Kohli didn't know what to do with it, just played onto his stumps. So he is bowled by Potts. He's got 2 now, Anderson has got 2, and Virat Kohli out cheaply for just 11. That is a big moment for England on the first day of this Test match. India 71 for 4.
TMS commentary continuing on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds as Juvan reels off a forehand winner to take the first point of this service game. She's serving to stay in the match. She can't, can she?
Don't jinx it.
Well, it'll be some spectacle if she comes from 5 love down.
I have seen it before, not from Heather, but yeah, there has been matches.
Well, it's never over until, as they say. And here is Watson making an error on the backhand and going long.
13 love.
First set was so competitive, and Juvan has to kind of tap into that and realise that she can raise her levels. And suddenly she has stemmed the flow of errors that put Watson in such a commanding position and fed so much confidence to the 30-year-old Briton. So she's still got to do a bit to get this done. 30 love, 30-15 now. That was
much better.
A penetrating forehand from Watson that scored for her.
Inside the baseline with the return, Juvan had absolutely no chance of picking that ball up.
She's got to just keep taking the initiative and she'll get the job done.
And it's so hard to do when you're trying to close out matches, but you have to force it.
First serve is long, so this is a chance. She's munched on the second serve of Kaja Juvan, and the backhand return down the line is a clean winner, and that's exactly the point.
And those are the chances that she's going to get on Juvan's second serve. Juvan going kick to Heather's backhand, which is her favourite shot. She loves the backhand when she can take it early, lean into the ball.
2 points away now at 30 all. Backhand return slowly over the net from Watson now with a bit more pace as she finds the forehand in the backhand corner of Juvan. And Juvan with the little drop shot. Watson's after it, chops the backhand long.
Oof.
40-30.
Juvan was very brave, or I don't even know. I would not have gone for an inside-out forehand drop shot to potentially go down match point.
Well, Here's Watson with the backhand cross-court return, and again the short ball offered up. Watson's in, goes cross-court with a top-spun forehand and a clean winner to take her to deuce and back within 2 points of victory.
Deuce.
The match exactly 90 minutes old now. Now, that previous point, I felt like Watson had anticipated it in a strange way, but she just didn't quite execute it, went long. But anyway, here's deuce, and a missed first serve at 85 miles per hour. Now, is this the opportunity for Watson off the second serve? It sits up for a forehand, but she snatches at it and puts it long.
It was the first second serve in a while that's gone to Heather's forehand, and it looked like she just pulled off it too soon. He was anticipating the ball to the backhand.
So Juvan to serve here with advantage point. And a backhand cross-court return from Watson, then the forehand cross-court. Juvan comes up with a penetrating forehand. Defensive backhand, sits up in mid-court. Juvan puts it away. Very balanced from the Slovenian there. Constructed the point very nicely indeed. And she's still alive from 5-love down to 5-2 now in Watson's favour. And a little bit of momentum with the 21-year-old.
I'm starting to get nervous. I can't imagine how Heather's feeling at this changeover. She's
Can't
just
get
got
nervous till like 5-3, 5-4. Where does the
I don't know.
panicometer
My
start
palms are
going?
sweaty. It's already started on my end. But I just think this is a great chance for her to sit down for the minute, take a couple deep breaths. She's been looking up over at her coach, and hopefully this is just a relaxing moment before she tries to serve this out again.
Well, let's check in on centre court now. How's Anjabur getting on? Sarah?
Well, she's 1-love up, and it's on serve here in the second at 3-all. Although we're under Diane Parry's serve at the moment, and she's now got to face 3 break points because it is love 40 on her serve. And I have to say, Jabeur, who was stunning in that first set, her level has dropped just a touch. And Parry, 19-year-old on debut at Wimbledon, she's starting to raise it. So there is certainly a match on here. 3-all in the second.
Thank you very much indeed, Sarah. Very few empty seats here on number 1 court. The crowd almost 100% behind Heather Watson, who is just finding the last game the hardest to win right now. From 5-love to 5-2, she's 1 set to the good, and she's bouncing on her toes, and she knows she's on the threshold of uncharted territory. A first visit to the 4th round of Wimbledon if she can just get this final game. Will it come in this one? She serves, forehand cross-court return, sits up in mid-court. Watson's in behind it, up goes the defensive lob. Watson runs all the way back to the baseline, has to take it on the bounce, and then she puts up a defensive lob, and the drive volley is there, and then Watson goes long. So she was in the ascendancy in the point, but then Kaja Juvan switched the roles.
Heather could have gone flat towards Juvan at the net. We've seen that Juvan's volleys haven't been there today. She's not super comfortable coming forward.
So Juvan with the momentum right now. Watson has to stem that, and she'll have to do it with a second serve now after dumping that first one into the net. Tall ball boy did the tidying up. It's gone to the opposite side of the umpire's chair and watches as that second serve is good. And then the backhand down the line is excellent, but it's well anticipated by Juvan. And then a forehand wild and long from Watson, who is struggling here. She is struggling, make no mistake, because that is not the sort of error we were seeing earlier in this set.
She's just already in recovery mode before she finishes the shot, so a couple of these forehands just sailing long.
The crowd sense it as well.
Well, she's just been so positive still. Can't fault her attitude.
Here comes Watson then, serving at love 30 here. This one sits up in mid-court, big forehand. Now she's in behind it, drive volley. Juvan is there, into the net. Oh, that was tight, it was tight, but Juvan puts the backhand into the net, crucially, and gives Watson a little room to breathe. Still behind on the game, still ahead on the scoreboard.
Needs a first serve here.
Massively. 5-live at Wimbledon. And Watson breathing deeply. now ready to serve. Tosses the ball into the air. There it goes. Gets the first serve.
Ace.
It's an ace.
Oh, what a time for an ace out wide. She's barely hit that serve all match. Went for the trickiest option available. Paints the line.
Glorious, glorious play from Heather Watson there. Now she needs more of the same. 30 all. 2 points away from victory again. Serves into the net. A little shake of the head. Settles herself. You can see her just going through the processes of routine. Will they do the job for her? Second serve. Very slow, but in. And then forehand return. Now Juvan goes with the deep forehand to the backhand of Watson. Well anticipated by the British player, who then goes cross-court with the forehand. Watson with the forehand down the line into the net. The high part just too high. Great point.
30-14.
Juvan doing well to recognise that all the errors are coming off Heather's forehand side here. Just continuing to go cross-court.
Watson into the net there, meaning that she's 30-40, and this could be a third game in the row for Kaja Juvan, who'll be starting to believe now. Backhand return into the net. Great first serve, out wide on the backhand side once again.
Juice.
I went for the same serve that came up well in the previous break point.
So, Juice. Can she get the first serve to the Juice court? That is the big question now.
Slice it out wide.
No, into the net. She was trying to go down the centre. Juvan is standing on the baseline, making herself look tall, sensing an opportunity. Second serve from Heather Watson. It's very slow, but it's in, and the forehand return, and then the forehand cross-court, flat over the net, and beautifully played by Juvan for a clean winner.
Advantage. Juvan.
It was a 68-mile-an-hour second serve in the middle of the box. If Juvan didn't get on top of that, then
You're not going to win the point from there.
then it's not your match to win.
Another break point against the Heather Watson serve. Watson creaking as she tries to get over the line. Not happy with the ball toss.
The ball toss is just creeping too far in front of her here.
She needs another of those serves to the ad court that she's had in this game, and she gets it, and the return is over. Watson's in at the net, goes to the backhand corner and scores. Juvan was there, but she could only net.
All credit to Heather coming up with 3 first serves, all on the outside, all the more difficult ones, and back to Juice we go.
And back to centre we go. A result, Sarah.
On Juvan, the third seed, she is through now to the 4th round. She's defeated Diane Parry of France, the 19-year-old debutante, in straight sets, 6-2, 6-3.
Thanks, Sarah. Juice here. Watson serving to try and carve out a match point in real tense scenes now, as the backhand is looped onto the baseline. Oh, it just caught the line. And then the backhand from Watson. That was deep from Juvan. Juvan in at the net, powers the forehand, then plays the stop volley. Watson's after it, can't get it, can't get it. Just puts it along the turf into the net on the run. And another break point.
So the point from Heather started so well, and then she had one backhand where she could have taken it so much earlier, just let it drop too much, and Juvan then found herself back in the rally.
The tension is palpable. Advantage Juvan. A third break point here. Pushing, pushing, pushing ever harder. Watson just settles herself, looks up at the umpire, says, hang on a minute, I need to bounce a few more balls. Now I'm ready. Serves in, and a blocked forehand return, sits up in mid-court. Watson attacks, goes to the forehand corner. Defensive lob is hoisted, smash, met by Juvan. Second volley is excellent from Watson, and she puts it away into a vacant backhand court.
Did so well on the overhead to just get behind it enough. Went straight through the middle, wasn't trying to do anything too crazy.
hearts and mouths from the thousands of people here. And they encourage once again. And what Watson has to do, and she's not been able to do in this game, is win a point serving to the deuce court. If she does, then she'll be serving to her favoured side with match point. Watson to the deuce court. Gets the serve. No, long. Thought it had caught the line, but no, called long. So something on this second serve, more than just the middle of the box at very slow speed. It's what she needs. Well, it's in. Forehand return, and then the little pick-up on the baseline from Watson. In at the net is Juvan, and she puts the volley onto the line. Daring play from the Slovenian.
Advantage.
It's the best volley she's hit all match, and what a time to do it. Again, taking advantage of the second serve.
Watson, again, break point. This is the fourth against her in this game. And you sense if she loses this game, there'll be so much momentum with Juvan. Serve, and then a backhand return lands long. It's long. And again, serving to the ad court is not the problem. The deuce course.
We need this energy, the ad court energy on the deuce side.
Does this sort of thing get into your head, though?
It does, it does. When you're overthinking where to serve, what to do, you can't find the ball toss as well. We've seen her throw and catch a couple.
Here she goes then. Deuce. Gets the first serve. Backhand return. Watson with the backhand. Right onto the baseline. Picked up on the forehand and long from Juvan. And at last, at long last, in this tortuous game, Watson has dug herself out of trouble and she's given herself the chance. Her first match point. 5-2 ahead.
Advantage, Watson.
In this second set that was going so routinely and then became so difficult. Match point, 1 hour, 42 minutes on the clock. Heather Watson against Kaja Juvan of Slovenia. Watson serves. Blocked forehand return. Mid-court attack from Watson. She goes with the backhand, then has to stoop for the stop volley and makes it! And her arms are aloft. She can't believe it's done. But she's done it with tenacity. It was stressful. Boy, it was stressful. But as the players embrace at the net, Heather Watson can celebrate making the last 16 at Wimbledon for the very first time. And she sinks to her knees with everyone else on their feet on number one court. Wonderful scenes from someone who has tortured British fans over the years. It has to be said, she came so close to beating Serena Williams those years ago. She's all smiles now. She's made the last 16 at Wimbledon. She's made the second week. And she's done it, well, it's straight set, 7-6, 6-2, but that does not tell the full story.
Oh.
That was super stressful.
The 6-2 set did not feel like it towards the end. That was so difficult for Heather to close out. But she only needed one match point in the end after having such a difficult service game, saving so many break points. One match point was enough, and this is what I love about tennis, that every day at a slam like this is the best day of someone's career. And looking at Heather in front of us, this is the best day of her career, and this will mean so much to her, finally getting into the fourth round of a slam at her favourite tournament in the world on a packed stadium. This is what she plays for.
Yeah, everyone's standing, everyone's smiling, everyone applauding. And Heather pops her bag down. We're about to hear from her. And they're just adjusting the microphone here. Lovely scenes on number one court. And she's going to be talking to the BBC's Kathy Nanasika.
Congratulations, what a win. What does it mean to you to be in the fourth round of a Grand Slam for the first time in your career?
Well,
Firstly, it wouldn't be me if there wasn't a bit of drama at the end. And wow, what an atmosphere. I mean, there is nowhere I would rather make... You guys are what got me over the line there at the end, but I felt like she was playing her best tennis at the end. I actually wasn't that nervous. But yeah, first time in the fourth round, I'm so happy. Thank you to my team over there, pushing me through, being with me through thick and thin. Yeah, I'm kind of... I know I'm not speechless because I'm blabbing on, but I don't know what to say.
You're doing perfectly well so far. Just how special is it to have done it here at Wimbledon in front of a home crowd and in front of your family as well?
Yeah, it means everything. Playing here at home in front of all of you guys, the atmosphere is everything. I love you too. So please, can all of you come back for my fourth round next week?
There's a great culture at the moment around the British players. We've got Katie Boulter, Cam Norrie, Liam Brodie, all doing very well this week. How have things changed and how much is it helping you all to push each other on?
Yeah, it really helps. I've watched all of their matches actually, and even if I've missed them, I've watched it on the recap at the end of the day. So it's really inspiring, and it's definitely, I think we're all egging each other on.
Well, it's fantastic to see you in the fourth round of a Grand Slam. Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Watson.
Isn't that wonderful to hear the reaction on court number one, to hear Heather's absolute delight at that win. She did put us through it. More reaction to come from Ian and Laura in a sec to that. Don't forget, we've got Cam Norrie, the number 9 seed. More Brit excitement, third up here on centre today after Novak Djokovic.